Welcome everybody to Inside Drag Racing. I'm Jack Corpella coming to you from Eddyville, Iowa. It's the SNS Performance Nationals. We've got the quickest motorcycles in the world. We've even got test rides. Let's get this show started.
Hello again, everyone. Ted Jones, Mike Side with you. Jack Corpella will be back in the pits when he gets done with that ride he's taking down the drag strip at Eddyville Raceway Park, just outside of Oskaloosa, Iowa. We're covering the Western Motorcycle Drag Racing Association event. We've got all kinds of bikes here today. Harley Davidsons, Kawasaki's, both Japanese, American, and yes, even some BMW motorcycles. So you sit back and enjoy the next half hour. We'll get things started first with the top of the line, Top Fuel Harley Davidsons. These guys are wild, burning nitromethane. Let's go to round number one first of all, where Ronnie Steiner out of Port Washington, Wisconsin, a welder by profession, his 82 Harley Davidson, will be facing Paul Kelly from North Dakota. Wow, Steiner with the whole shot, but look at Paul Kelly, 466 in the eighth of a mile, over 180. Beautiful bikes. Look at that pinstriping.
That pinstriping was done by Texas legend Joe Cartullo, world famous. He used to pinstripe for Ed Roth back in the 60s.
That was Hal Court, folks, and he's our next competitor. Hal, they call him Houston Hal, by the way, because he's from Houston, Texas. He's going to be running against Chuck Jones. Jones with the whole shot, a 0-2. He picks up the win with a 467. Our next competitor will get a single run. That is Freddie Robbins from Louisville, North Carolina. 63 years old, retired, and he drives a Harley-Davidson Top Fuel motorcycle. Moving on now to round number one of Pro Drag. This is Bill Bentz from Prescott Valley, Arizona, of all places. Came a long way up here to Eddyville, Iowa. He'll be against Bill Hendren from Ozark, Arkansas. Hendren, by the way, has the senior award so far, 67 years old, still riding these exotic motorcycles. Now they have to stage very carefully because they don't have very much blocking that stage beam with that narrow tire. Give the win right there to Bill Bentz. Now our next run will be a single run. Dustin Werner from Mays, Kansas. He's a Harley-Davidson mechanic by trade, in case you're interested in that. The youngster in the crowd, only 37 years old. Going for a good ET. See that front tire right off the ground right there? 464. We'll see if that gets him lane choice, whoever he pairs up with in the next round. We have a female rider in the race today. Kirsten Helling came all the way down from Wisconsin with her 2014 Harley Davidson. She'll be facing Mike Bonmeyer from Wichita, Kansas. He's another retiree, a 2001 Harley Davidson. Looks like Mike will pick up the win at 475. Let's check in once again with Jack Corpella.
A lot of times we see multi-car or multi-bike teams in drag racing. There's a lot of advantages. You can share components, you can share data, but Mike Bonmeyer of Wichita, Kansas is taking it to a whole new level. 7 motorcycles Mike brought this weekend. That's almost enough to fill a class all by himself. As you can see, the team is frantically scrambling to get ready. What's it like trying to maintain 7 motorcycles? Some people struggle with 1.
Well, it's probably as close to insanity as you can get. The time in between rounds is usually the big factor when you got this many bikes to turn around.
Now you have such a respected shop. Did you think that you would bring all 7 motorcycles to the race here this weekend?
Well, we planned on it, but my one rider from Wichita couldn't come, so we were only actually running 5 at the race. And then I have the one on this side over here is a new bike for us, and we're going to test it, but too many time restraints.
How do you feel about your chances that at least one Mike Bonmeyer bike is going to make it to the winner's circle?
Well, I hope so. I hope it makes a couple, but we'll go for one. We hope for one anyway.
Inside Drag Racing is being brought to you by ARB, the world leader in racing fastener technology. And by Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. And by Race Gas, get more out of your engine. Back at the Western Motorcycle Drag Racing Association SNS Performance Nationals, coming to you from Eddyville, Iowa. Top Gas round number 1 with the action. There's the bike that belongs to Kyle. They call him Fuzzy Olson. Hey, Fuzzy, are you ready to go? Yes, he is. Over there in the far lane, he's going against Mike Wagner from St. Charles, Missouri. Wagner off the line first, 0-4 beats a 0-6. Wagner breaks out a bunch, 5-14 on a 520 index. Fuzzy Olson will get the win. Here comes Mike Wagner's daughter, folks. This is Heather Baldy, also, of course, from St. Charles, Missouri. Two Kawasaki's who do battle here in Top Gas. Her opponent, Dave DeMoss from Shirley, Indiana. He came a good ways. Heather first to stage up. Good green light start right there. Oh, side by side, good drag race, closest one we've had so far. But a double breakout. Baldy breaks out the least, a 5-14. DeMoss had a 5-12 and loses. And the bye run will go to Jeremy Bird. Turns a respectable time. He's right in the game right there. Nice 0-2 reaction time for Jeremy. Now let's move on to Super Comp. This is round number 1. The near lane there is Josh DeMoss. He's going against Greg Darm. And DeMoss launches before the tree comes on, so he'll lose. Greg Darm then will take the single. This time he waits on the tree, gets the green light. He works for Frito-Lay riding his Kawasaki, and he runs a 5.77 with another great 0-2 reaction time. Here comes Kyle Fuzzy Olson one more time with his 2012 Suzuki. He'll be up against Cameron Belisle from Hugo, Minnesota. 1982 Kawasaki. Look at him, look back. He's looking back to see where he's at. He picks up the win, 592 at 99 miles per hour. Next up, Scott Grandy, who shows us how to heat up a tire right there in the water box. He's out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with a 2005 Hayabusa. He's going against Thomas Cole. Boy, look at Thomas. Look over there at him. See where he's at. Cole picks up the win. 0-2 reaction time. Very nice. A 5.87. Beats out the quicker 5.75. Here comes Tom Clem, who will get a single run out of Davenport, Iowa. Clem solidly in the field. Another 0-2 reaction time. Boy, these guys are quick off the line. And finally, Andy Sandquist gets a bye run. He runs an identical 5.70. That's what Clem ran on his, but look at the 0-1 reaction time. Now, semifinal action in Top Fuel. But before we get to that run, as they burn out earlier today, Jack Corpella was with Paul Kelly.
We are experiencing some real heat here at Eddyville Raceway this weekend. It's almost as hot as the competition in the Top Fuel Harley category. Paul, I know that with so many entries and hot weather, it's not going to be easy this weekend.
Nope, all I got to do is twist the throttle and rely on DJ.
Now, speaking of DJ, you have the benefit of having a crew chief who's got over 100 national event victories. How does that make you feel to have a guy like that in your corner?
Well, I feel a lot better about riding the bike with him on my side.
DJ give you any pep talks or any words of wisdom?
A little bit.
75% humidity this weekend. As a tuner, how difficult does that make your job?
Well, you have to take power out of it, otherwise it'll put a hole out, too much fuel, the ignition won't be able to light it. And you got to deal with the track temperature. You know, it's probably about 125, 130. It's hard not to, go out there and not spin the tire. That's a problem, whatever with the heat. the sun beating right on the track. You got to take power out. It's the same for everybody.
What are the biggest factors you look at? What do you monitor from round to round as far as making your tuning calls and adjustments on these motorcycles?
The biggest thing is the clutch. The clutch is about 80% of the tune-up. Doesn't matter what cams you have and whatever, and sprockets and chains and whatever, it's getting the clutch right for the track conditions. Because we can smoke the tire on an NHRA prep track, no problem, the same as we could here. You know, it's all in the clutch.
A lot of tough racers in attendance this weekend. How do you feel about your chances to make it to the winner's circle?
And we're here, we all got a chance.
That's just how close it is. Paul Kelly's over there in the far lane. Freddie Robbins, his competitor, out of Louisville, North Carolina. Oh, wow. Robbins never really in it there. Paul Kelly, an easy win, and had a slow reaction time, .22. Now, Chuck Jones had the bye, and while he's doing that, let's take a break for the ARP Quarter Mile Quiz, brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology. Our question this week says, how much ballast do you put in a race car, and what type of ballast do you use? Jimmy wants to know. He's from Toledo, Ohio. We'll have the answer after the break. Back on Inside Drag Racing, the answer to this week's ARP Quarter Mile Quiz, how much ballast do you put in a race car? What type do you use? For the answer, we went to Pro Stock racer Roger Brogdon.
Well, it really depends on the size of the driver and how you built the car. Big guys like me, we build our cars with a lot of titanium in them. Okay, costs average about another 20 to 25,000 per car, but it allows, I'm a big guy, 245, and I still probably got 75 to 85 pounds in the car.
What do you use for ballast?
Just lead pucks. We got them in 3-pound and 5-pound sizes, and we make them ourselves. Got them so they'll go against the frame, but you know, underneath the under the car. You can't put nothing on the housing, even though we would like to, but NHRA won't let us do us. But yeah, that's what we use. We use lead basically.
Back at the SNS Performance Nationals in Eddyville, Iowa, this is Sam Wills riding Exhibition. We'll tell you more about him, but first, Jacques Carpella caught up with that bike's owner.
Yes, one of the quickest motorcycles in the world is here this weekend, 1,500 horsepower, which covers the quarter mile in under 6 seconds at over 240 miles an hour. That's what we're talking about with Top Fuel Motorcycle. I'm here with bike owner Mike Dryden. Explain to me how you build one of these beastly creations.
Being stupid, I guess, and not thinking straight, and just kind of like everybody else. You see something, it comes to you, you're like, I'd like to do that, and you just pursue it.
Now, you're one of 2 individuals in the world that can say you've tuned 2 Top Fuel motorcycles into the 5-second zone. How were you able to have this build come together so quickly? I think I heard you say 13 months?
Big part about it was Sam Wills.
This is actually my 40th year of riding a fuel bike, and it's a thrill like there is no other. I can't even explain it, but you have to be scared because there's no other reason to do it unless it scared the bejesus out of you.
Now, I've talked to a lot of talented racers in the pits, and I asked them all, hey, would you ever try Top Fuel? And they say, no way. So what sets you apart?
Well, the difference is I've been doing it for so long. I started with smaller motorcycles with things that didn't run quite as fast, and through the years I've worked up to this. It's probably not unlike a lot of drag racing motorcycles for the first 5 feet, and then things get very intense. It covers so much ground so quickly. It'll run over 200 miles an hour in the eighth of a mile, and we've run 243 in the quarter. And that's where it's actually the scariest, because getting stopped from that kind of speed at 200 miles an hour, you're covering 300 feet a second. So you're covering a football field a second, and you don't have a lot of time to make decisions. You got to do it. It's got to be a mental situation where you know what you're doing and you just do it automatically.
Earlier this year, you were able to run your first 5. How much did that mean to you?
Everything. You know, hard to describe.
One of the quickest motorcycles in the world. We'll see what they can do here at the SNS Performance Nationals.
All right, thank you, Jack. That 5-second run was in Houston, Texas. It was a 5:97. He turned that on April 28th of this year. Look at the flames from the nitromethane. What a run, folks. Wow, 4:01. Let's go on board with him. It's over very quick. Moving on now to Pro Drag semifinals. Coming up, Mike Bonmeyer will be racing against Dustin Werner. Werner over there in the far lane. Good green light start right there. Give the advantage to Werner with a 0.8 to Bonmeyer's 0.9. Werner picks up the win, 465. And the bye run would go to Bill Benz on his Harley out of Prescott Valley, Arizona. Oh, Bill had problems right off the line. Looks down at it and says, hey, what happened to you? Well, you know what? He goes to the finals. Top Gas semifinals coming up right now. Fuzzy Olsen against Jeremy Berg. Oh, Berg leaves first 0-1 to a 0-4. Can Fuzzy drive around him? You betcha. 5:20 beats out a 5:25. And the bye run will go to Heather Baldy. Oh, a little slow off the line, a .10 reaction time, but a respectable ET, 5:24. Jack Carpella talked to her a little bit earlier.
Drag racing is certainly a family affair, and it's a co-ed sport as well. So guys, you better be careful because we found some awfully tough women out here. Heather, you're doing a remarkable job this weekend.
Thank you. We race the class Top Gas. I recently just started that this year. I normally raced Super Comp, which was an 890 index. Dad races Top Gas and thought it would be great for us to kind of do some competition together.
Now, did any of the guys ever give you a hard time about racing a girl, not wanting to lose to a girl, maybe a girl shouldn't be here? How's that go?
No, I've been actually around this sport since I was probably 4, so a lot of these guys I've grown up with have become really close.
Tell me what it's like for you to hop on this bike and make a pass down the track.
I love it. It's absolutely fantastic.
What's it mean for you to be able to do it in front of your daughter?
My daughter loves the racetrack. So she's 4. She just turned 4 in June, and I love having her there. She gives me a fist pump every time before I go down the track.
Now, do you give mommy a fist pump? Is that true? Do you like going to the racetrack with mommy?
Coming to the racetrack?
Well,
I'm going to be shy.
She has nothing to say, Jack. Super Comp round number 2 coming up right now. It'll be Tom Clem going up against Andy Sanquist. Oh, Andy goes red, 009, so Clem will move on automatically. Still made a good race of it, though. Sanquist wasted a 576. Now, Kyle Olsen, Fuzzy Olsen against Thomas Cole. Cole red lights. What's with you guys? Trying to chop the tree down. 003 red, Kyle Olsen. He'll go into the semifinal round. And we had a bye run by Greg Darm. We'll be back with more after this. This edition of Inside Drag Racing is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology. And by the School of Automotive Machinists, SAM, education at full speed. And by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
What a facility it is here at Eddyville, Iowa, an awesome track. The home track of the late, great Gary Clark, a funny bike legend who sadly passed away just a short time ago. Gerald, the track owner, great to have you here. I understand that you have a Gary Clark story that is just priceless.
Oh yeah, Gary started racing here in the mid-'70s, and I remember him showing up with a pretty much stock Kawasaki 900 with a turbo on it, of course, and that was his thing. And at that time, down at the far end of the track, there was no guardrails, and he went off the track, went into the cornfield, disappeared, and then drove right back out of the cornfield, back onto the return road, or the shutdown area, and walked away from it.
Only Gary, right?
Only Gary could do that, yeah. He was one of a kind, truly a wild man, but tremendous competitor.
Gary Clark had so many memories here Godspeed, Gary Clark.
All right, thank you very much. Here's the semifinals in Super Comp right now. 3 bikes competing. First, it'll be Tom Clem against Greg Darn. Nearly equal on the green light start. Clem out first, 0-2 to a 0-3 for Greg Darn. Oh, 571 to 572. What a side-by-side drag race. Tom Clem will move into the final. A bye run then will go to Kyle Fuzzy Olson. And as he makes his bye into the final, let's check in once again with Jack Corpella.
Now, a big reason why this event is so successful is because of the support and backing of SNS Cycle, a company who certainly knows a thing or two about horsepower. All you V-twin owners out there, if you're looking to increase the power of your motorcycle, there's an easy way to do it. Simply call these guys. Justin, everybody's talking about this Dragon 143 crate motor. Tell me about it.
It's the biggest displacement engine that bolts into a stock frame, no chassis modifications required. It displays all of our new products, new crankcase, new pistons, new lower end, 3-piece flywheels, 6 months warranty, 166 horsepower and 155 foot-pounds of torque. It's a low enough compression engine that it'll run on standard fuel available all around the country. Biggest, baddest bolt-in, and that's our tagline.
What's the impression of the WMDRA races out here with Top Fuel Motorcycle and Nitro Harley been like this weekend?
The race this weekend's been awesome. There was way more bikes than we expected of all varieties, all the way from Sam Wills, Top Fuel, and then all of the other classes below were just filled out full and couldn't expect a better turnout. Weather's been great, just a great event for us.
All right, thank you very much, Jack. SNS Cycle been around a long time, let me tell you. Top Gas final on the line, the dial-in 520. Fuzzy Olson in the far lane, nearly Heather Baldy. Whole shot by Baldy, 0-5 to a 0-6. Can she pull it out? No. Fuzzy, 5:22, beats out a 5:27. Super Comp final. They run on a 570 dial-in index. In the near lane, that's Tom Clem over there in the far lane. Fuzzy Kyle Olson one more time. Clem with the whole shot, 0-1 to a 0-5. Clem pulls it out, 578, beats out the slower, 587. And the Pro Drag final looks like it'll be a bye run for Dustin Werner. We'll show it to you though, folks, because it's the championship run. Werner with an impressive 461 at 150 miles per hour. And unfortunately, a bye run in Top Fuel, Chuck Jones. The other guy could not make the call for the finals. Chuck, a nice, impressive burnout right there. By the way, notice he runs a parachute. The crewman checking that chute. He'll use that to help stop him on the bike, and he shuts it down. You know why? Because nitromethane can eat parts. That's why, folks. And that'll bring to a close this week's coverage on Inside Drag Racing of the Western Motorcycle Drag Racing Association from Eddyville, Iowa. I'm Ted Jones for Jack Corpella. So long, everyone.